1998. I'm a junior in high school and an aspiring artist. I was part of the art class. I even got accepted into a prerequisite class in my senior year. If you think I'm going to go on about growing up watching Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, you're in for a surprise. 1998 was just the first time I'd ever heard of anime. I had some friends in school that I'd eat lunch with, and I'd hear them talk about Sailor Moon. I had no idea what the hype was. All my ADHD brain took in was that it was Japanese. I'm often surprised myself that I did not get into anime by that association alone. My love for Japan didn't start with anime. It started with The Karate Kid in 1984. Okay, maybe more 86. I was 3 in 84. The movie did come out in 1984, though. I remember thinking how cool Mr. Miyagi was with his lessons. Of course, I had a crush on Daniel LaRusso. I didn't like Johnny at all until I watched Cobra Kai. I could keep gushing, but back to what I was saying. So I graduated high school in 2000 and didn't watch anime again until my early 20s. That's when I watched Princess Mononoke on a movie channel when my parents were out of town. I lived with my parents off and on until I was 25, no shame. I really loved the movie and it was nice to see an animated feature made for adults. But I was suffering from depression and social anxiety that was untreated in my early 20s and 30s. I was also a live-in babysitter for like 15 years. Between that and dealing with my mental health, it was hard to try to get into anime or even be inspired to draw. For a while I was in a dark place. Really thought the rest of the world would be better off without me. That's a horrible place to be. Eventually I pulled myself out of that dark place. Sadly, I didn't watch another anime again until 2011. The friends I hung out with weren't into anime, so I just wasn't exposed to it. I cared more about fast station cars and boy bands. The Fast and the Furious were a huge trend back then. My friends and I would watch those movies together and street race, legally, most of the time. Not surprisingly, my favorite Fast and the Furious movie was Tokyo Drift. In 2011, I was exposed to Dragon Ball Z because a roommate of mine was really into it. I love Dragon Ball Z now, but when you only see an episode here and there, you miss a few things. By the time my ADHD brain realized he was watching Dragon Ball Z, I'd missed the dialogue. So my impression of Dragon Ball Z was... A year passes before I watch another anime. A roommate was watching Trigun on Netflix. I instantly adored Vash. I rewatched it repeatedly and found the manga online. After reading the manga, I started to draw Vash. I wanted to try other anime, so I branched out. The next one I tried was Chobits. The whole time I was watching it, all I kept thinking is, what am I watching? I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just odd. While this was all going on, my other roommate was pressuring me to find a date. She really wanted me to post a personal ad and find a man. I really didn't feel like it, but she wouldn't quit. As soon as she started suggesting she was going to make one for me, I was like, no. I'll make it myself. I got this. She had a horrible taste in men. So 10 years ago, Craigslist had a personal ad section. Using the long-term relationship category, I wrote up about myself and my love for anime and attached a picture and wish for the best. I got a fair share of responses from plenty of weirdos. It wasn't my first rodeo. I'd done this online dating thing before. So 2 of the responses to my ad caught my interest. One of them was my future husband, Cameron. So I chatted with Cam and the other guy that responded. There was about 2 weeks that Cam and I didn't talk. I found out over those 2 weeks that this other guy wasn't a good match. So I messaged Cam thinking that he probably lost interest. He'd actually been waiting for me. He said all the right things and meant them. He bought me my first volume of manga, which was Trigun. He introduced me to the original Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood. Brotherhood is better. When my living situation got toxic, he told me I could live with him. So that's what Carter and I did. Carter is my cat. He's named after a Backstreet Boy. I'm a millennial, okay? The first 2 weeks we lived together, all we did was play Minecraft and eat microwave pizza. That's so American. Cam got me into more anime. One I remember specifically, which still haunts me to this day. Wolf's Rain. I never cried so damn much watching an anime. It was like, what the fuck, Cameron? Why did you show me this? He just laughed at me like...
First time.
I was forever scarred. I got into all the big titles, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, you name it, I watched it. I felt so behind the rest of the anime community, so all I did for a while was just watch anime. So after dating a year, Cam proposed to me on the beach I grew up on, and then a year later we got married on that same beach. Because of my interest in anime, I started drawing more regularly. Anime is still a big part of our life. It decorates our home and our son watches it. Every day we sit down together and log into Crunchyroll and see what simulcasts have updated. I read a lot more manga than Cam does, but we did both read My Hero Academia Vigilantes, which I highly recommend. Koichi is a total cinnamon roll. Anime got me drawing again and led me to meeting the love of my life. We'll be watching anime together until the day we die when we're grandparents. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, and it all started when I discovered anime and manga. Now I'm using my art talents to create anime content. Maybe one day I'll be able to have a guest spot on Trash Taste. I ain't prepared for the shit Joey would give me for loving Fairy Tail.